Welcome back to The Binding of Isaac, Afterbirth Plus, a game that you may have heard of. It's pretty niche though. Also, apologies for the beeping in the background, I don't actually know what's causing it. It's a car somewhere. Either way, the seed is on the screen. We started with Ghost Baby and the altar, so I'm going to immediately destroy Ghost Baby, I think. And that gave us Dark Matter, which is a hell of a lot better than Ghost Baby. Oh, and the speed up pill. We have no idea how much HP we have, and it's Eden, so I'm going to guess a heart and a spirit heart. That beeping's still going on, huh? Okay, that's just some of the background noise, I guess. Oh, that puts the devil's mark on the back of your head. You know, I don't think I've ever had fear shot without like something that's already overwritten the back of his skull. Actually, no, that's probably not true. I've probably seen it at some point and had the exact same reaction, being like, oh wow, I didn't realise Dark Matter did that. And that just proves that it happens so infrequently that it's novel when you see it happening. So to go back to what we were talking about before we actually started recording the episode, weekend streams went well, I think. Did a lot of Total War, we did Monster Hunter as is tradition, but some things don't change, etc. We don't have a bomb. No, I haven't filmed a new 40k battle report yet. I have one ready, but I'm just waiting for the mood to take me. I've got a few painting videos I can do now. Tomorrow, the order I've been waiting on for a month. A literal month. Oh wait, no, that's good. We need one more. Has been dispatched. Should arrive tomorrow. And that will allow me to do some models I've been waiting for a while. So I'll be able to crank out 1, 2, 3... 4 new painting contrast videos for the second YouTube channel. And they're the bread and butter currently of the second channel, so nearly walked into that. So that'll be good. I might go back to having a video every couple of days as opposed to 3 days over there. I was mentioning on Twitter today though as well, I'm still looking for ideas for other content for it. Because outside of the usual things people try, like Tactica videos, it's not really my bag, baby. A couple of people, Shells and Crispy, suggested like, here's how you play 40k videos. I'm not going to do those because I don't have the patience to go into the minutiae of every single rule for the game, because it's a very rule heavy game. And it's already been done by other people better than I would be willing. But honestly, beyond the most basics, I feel like you can watch a match and enjoy it. It's just, you move, you do magic if you have magic, then you shoot each other, then you punch each other, and then you swap whose turn it is. And I think within the videos themselves, I explain where the points are coming from relatively well, in terms of like objectives. Ooh! Alright, this is an exceptionally good first floor. Some of it was my work, some of it was just the game being nice. Okay, you'd watch teaching videos, so would Chills. Go to YouTube and find tutorial videos. There's tons of people who have done very comprehensive videos on how to play 40k. So Magic Mush gave us 1 HP, so we had 2 red hearts. So it was close. It's a shame we couldn't get that tinted rock on the first floor to... I was just in there. To get a spirit heart to guarantee us to deal with the devil on this floor, but there's still a chance because there's one there, but the game would actually have to give me a bomb, and apparently it's just one of those runs where the game's like, ah, keys. And I'm like, nah game, I want a bomb. And then the game's like, what are you, some kind of terrorist? And I'm like, no, I just need a bomb to get a tinted rock to get a spirit heart. And the game's like, no, key. I'm like, okay. And it goes on like this for some time. I am hitting him in the hurry spots. I'm very... oh, we got a bomb. I'm very powerful for the first floor. Very, very powerful, in fact. Well, second floor, but you know what I mean. First area. I put it there just in case there was a hidden trapdoor. Crawl space. So no to the teaching videos in the second channel. I'm not running out of ideas of things to paint in contrast in the immediate timeline, so... And obviously battle reports will continue and that kind of thing. But I was looking to branch out. The idea of like a podcast type thing, but in video form, was also flung around. I would need other people to contribute to that. A one-person podcast is not my idea of a good time. There's got to be an aspect of banter. Ooh, how risky do you want to go here? Will be a little risky. There's some red hearts on the floor that I left, right? So Dart Bum can nom them. I don't remember where they are, but... Oh, there's one. Oh no, I got rid of the devil mark thanks to the bloody wooden spoon of all things. I will risk that. Ooh. It's the thing I always assume is Greed's Gullet and never is. It's Sack of Sacks. That's a bad draw. Ooh, but there's a Spirit Heart. Did that come from Dart Bomb or did that just come from the first boss dying? Thank you, Dart Bomb. Would Evil Vice President do it? I have no idea. Valinar might. You would have to be up on the stuff. Oh, the thing with that is, though, I'd also be being a copycat. Like, one of the other 2 channels on the entirety of YouTube, in English at least, that does, like, Batman content, for instance, has just started doing a podcast in May. There was also a previous one I've never heard. I think it was called... It was called Gotham something. Gotham Street something or other? I don't remember. So it isn't exactly an innovative idea and would be very copycatty. Now, granted, you can make it about 40k. There's very comprehensive 40k ones that I wouldn't be able to compete with because I don't like getting into the minutiae of 40k, as I mentioned. The Batman stuff I'm willing to get into the minutiae for because it has that whole comic fandom attached where you can geek out. But at the same time, the game also has an exceptionally small player base. I don't remember where the boss is, so buckle in. Oh, it's back the way. I remember now, it's to the right. Well, I think you might be seeing a little bit of a... I don't know if resurgence is the word, but I feel like Night Models are going in the right direction by releasing bat boxes like bi-monthly or whatever it is. I think they're doing an okay job. I think they're doing a piss poor job advertising their game outside of trade shows. I think their social media efforts are very lackluster and could definitely be improved, and if they did, I feel like it would help up the game. But I guess the problem was just the first edition of the Batman miniature game, the models weren't particularly high quality and no one got into it. And that is a great shame because the second edition of the game is very, very good. And the model quality went very, very high up compared to the first edition miniatures, which were not that great. Thank you for the raid, please, Cake. May your arrests be lawful and your frosting watermelon flavour. Can you get watermelon flavour frosting? That's hard to say. Watermelon flavour frosting. Well, it's Ryan Taylor, Rydog. I don't think I've ever had it. If it exists, I want to try it now because it sounds delicious. I'm a big fan of the watermelon flavour. Oh, thank goodness those spikes were down because I got distracted by someone mentioning like do more unboxings on the second channel via Twitter. I will do that. Not just for like, hey, I bought some paints, probably, because that's not really a big thing. Before big purchases like the Apocalypse boxes I bought, then yeah, sure, I did that. If I ever pick up any new bat boxes, I'll definitely be doing kind of like unboxing reviews of those. And just try and see if I can get in touch with Night Models about getting like review copies of those, because that other channel that does reports, honestly, my new channel gets as many views as they do, so I feel like I could probably wrangle the same kind of situation, but I hate having to manage that side of the business, the biz. That's why I wish I had an agent, but also an agent who worked for free. Because 10% of a very small pie is not worth fighting for. But I also hate negotiating. basically vice versa. Betty Crocker makes a watermelon flavour frosting. If she does, then, well, if the company does, I haven't seen it. I've only ever seen the two I bought, which were, I think, just like a generic vanilla frosting, and then there was like a zesty lemon that I got because I figured my mother would like it. She didn't, but my feelings were that she would. Secret room. Just gonna blow it up. Hey, don't just ask him outright. That was not what the discussion was. Did you just, like, forget the part where I mentioned there's two already and neither of them get views? Although I don't think I mentioned that part yet. I did mention the copycat part. One of those days where I'm not going to be able to talk, apparently. Ooh. I don't like... No, wait, that's like Kane's eye or something. I'm just going to skip that. Unnecessary. The evil vice president couldn't even convince his friends to play the Batman miniature game with him. They're all too busy with their ball guilds and such. And other nerd games that aren't my nerd games, so therefore they're inferior. You know, that old chestnut. But anyway, to talk about stuff I watched on my day off. I watched a bunch more of the 1960s Adam West Batman, and I want to mention very specifically one episode I watched not long before the stream. It was, well, they're all two-parter episodes, more or less. The two-parter which had Vincent Price as Egghead. I want to mention that episode for two very specific reasons. The first is that it is so filled with egg-related puns that it made me sick. But the second is, even for the 60s, it has the most horrific racial stereotyping of Native Americans that I could not believe ever made it onto television. It was ridiculous. It is going to take some context, but I hate this room, so let me quickly... I would like to... There. Let me clear this room first. Little chubby, don't mind if I do. So, the land that Gotham owns, every 10 years, I think, they have to redo the contract with the Native Americans who own the land. And they do this by giving them 6 raccoon pelts. And Batman has to go talk to the last of the Mohicans, which is the only Native American left alive in Gotham who lives in a teepee in a grass field. And Batman is the only man alive who knows the traditional Native American greeting, which is to hold your hand up, say how, who, when, spin twice, pat the person on the shoulder, and then do a pinky swears with them. The scene then proceeds to be a series of jokes where the joke is the horrible stereotype Native American doesn't know the value of money. So he's like, I don't think 6 pelts is enough, I'm going to ask for 9 this year. And then he talks about his cousin who sold land for $25, but he thinks he would have been able to get $35. And it goes on like this for quite some time. And it was just horrible. I felt sorry for the actor because, I mean, he was just having an actor's gig, I guess, but... the best comparable is if you've ever seen Maverick, which is that card game themed movie with Mel Gibson. There's a bit in that where he goes to see the Native Americans, and kind of like the joke is that the Native Americans pretend to be stereotypical for American tourists to get money off of them. So you're not really laughing at them when they do the stereotypical stuff, you're laughing at the dumb Americans who are buying it. It's like that, except without any niceness to it, or the audience isn't in on the joke, it's just let's laugh at the Native American, and it's horrible. And yes, it was the 60s, but I don't see how that could have been acceptable back then. Especially when the show is so hyper, like, moralistic, if that's the word. Like, morals in the show are exceptionally black and white and just very, very on the nose, and yet they go and do something like that. That episode needs to be forgotten. It needs to be wiped away and no one needs to remember it. Just that one episode. Everything else has been totally fine. But yeah, that one episode for the egg puns and to a lesser extent also the racism. Or stereotyping, I should say. I mean, everybody involved apart from Dick Ward, Burt Ward are dead, so, you know, but still. Also, to waste Vincent Price on such a horrible villain. It's criminal. When was that episode made? 1966. Wait, it was season 2, so maybe 1967? One of those 2 years for sure. That's another nice thing, every time they do like Ditline, Gotham at the start of an episode, they just use stock footage and they're like, yeah, this is Gotham, but it's very clearly New York because it's like, I mean, I've never been to New York, but I've played enough games set in New York to be like, oh, that's Central Park, etc. But it's obviously, it's New York of the time, so it is relatively interesting to be like, oh, that's what New York looked like in the 60s. I don't know how different it is now, but it seems to have the same weirdly shaped buildings around Central Park that, well, most recently we saw them in that Spider-Man game. 20 years is a long time. It's a long time to kind of grow as a people. Not sure why that didn't hit me, but I'll take it because usually it swings in the other direction. I guess because our hitbox is not as big as it appears to be. But other than that one blemish, the show is a joy to watch. It's just, it's cozy viewing because it's so theatrical and corny and camp. It is a bit weird though, because I don't know if this is indicative of the 60s Batman comics, but the Riddler and Joker are very interchangeable in terms of like how they act. At least the person who played the Riddler for season 1, he has an exceptionally Joker-esque laugh that he always breaks into when he's doing like his villain monologues. And then you compare that with Cesar Romero, who was the Joker, and he doesn't really have a super loud clown laugh, and also he like leaves riddles as well for his crimes, although they're not really, well, they're like comedy based riddles, but they're still riddles, so they're very, very interchangeable, which is strange because usually, I mean, I'm used to them being so very different. Had the item room, time for the boss. Now, obviously, I'm pretty sure like everybody here is not old enough to have watched the Adam West Batman when it first aired, although it has been running reruns for the last 60 years or 40 years, whatever. It's worth picking up. It is just, it's cheesy goodness. Just avoid that particular two-parter with Vincent Price. Another interesting thing is they introduce a villain called the Minstrel, and I could tell it was a villain they made rather than took from the comics, and I double checked this on the wiki afterwards to make sure I was right, incidentally, and I am. You could tell they were trying to push a new villain because it was like Batman was just flummoxed by this medieval dressing minstrel that plays and sings songs and yet is a master electronics. They're just constantly talking about how much smarter he is than Batman. And as I was watching the episode, I was like, you're trying to sell this villain to the audience as being like the new big thing. And sure enough, I checked afterwards. Wiki page, Minstrel was only in that two-parter. Nobody liked him, so he didn't make any other appearances. That was their attempt at creating a character. There's been very few success stories of like trying to get new, fresh characters that people enjoy, I feel, in Batman. I think people like the Court of Owls, and that was early 2000s or mid 2000s. Bane was the 90s. Harley Quinn was the 90s because that's when the cartoon originally aired. Don't know about too many more modern ones. I guess like Red Hood in this current iteration is fairly modern, like late, well, early 2000s. But it's hard to introduce a new villain that people take to as well as, you know, the classics. So was Freeze? What do you mean? If you mean he was new, no he's not, because Mr. Freeze is in the 60s television program. In terms of notable villains, Penguin, Riddler, Joker, Mr. Freeze. There's one called the Archer, which is just like off-brand villain Green Arrow. Who else? Catwoman. Or do you mean that they invented Mr. Freeze? Ooh, Jarrett. Jarrett is the one that duplicates, right? Rerolls. No, it is the duplicate one. I said it the right way. I will try and hold on to it until the chest. I was thinking of the other one that is the reroll one, whose name I am totally remembering and not blanking on. That chat will say, but I won't read it from chat. I will simply remember it. No, not Digaz. That's the one that does other things. Awaz is the passage, Hagalaz is break everything, Digaz is purity, so that's a map reveal plus spirit heart. The reroll is... oh my god, I made it to boss rush, barely. Get out of jail free. Let's see if there's anything worth actually grabbing in here. I don't remember the last time I did this. Piercing shots would be fine, Loki's horn would be fun with a tear rate as low as ours, I feel, and double vision. Yeah, you know what, why not? We're actually going to fight boss rush for the first time in probably, not a joke, 50 runs. Because why would you normally, if you play as slow as I do? Hey, thank you Chris B to get the week started with 31 months with Twitch Prime. What's Twitch Prime? I've never heard of it. Is it something good? I missed a follow-up on that Mr. Freeze thing, if there was one. I'm taking a risk and looking at chat every so often. If otherwise, or despite talking about this, we'll change subject once we end boss rush. Well, we'll tangentially change subject. Because I have another Batman thing to talk about. I know you can't wait, but you're gonna have to. Oh, horse is still alive. Oh no, you need to go first. I don't think you went first, but that's okay. Carrying Queen needs to go first, but it won't because the Fallen is split into two. Did she grab the key? Oh no, she grabbed one of the Fallen. Okay. That's too long a line of text for me to read mid-fight. Your son was upset. Something about a puppet booth. Oh, he got a box of 20 science experiments because he was upset you threw something out related to puppets. You spared him a life of nightmares about puppets. Puppets are evil. Especially Muppets. And hopefully we're almost done. Nope. That'll be a big nope for me. Luckily, the fear is making him face away from me so I can keep shooting his weak spot. Come on. Hello, peep. I'm a pubescent demon with glasses. Haunting Gish. I think I killed him. Yeah, I heard him pop. He must have done. Shoot her etc. of course. Your ceiling failing shtick though. Done? Jesus. That's why nobody likes you, Boss Rush. Especially Afterbirth plus Boss Rush. Or whichever one it is where they introduce the random, like no rhyme nor reason to what's spawning in what order. Now we're done. Okay. That is not worth the fight, but that's okay, because it's been a long time since I did Boss Rush. Although I do like what Charm of the Vampire has done to her face. Hang on a second. Did you see that? Oh, we look so adorable. The littlest vampire. Will I make a miniatures podcast? It would be amazing. I feel like you're not listening to the complaints I'm throwing up about the idea. I think that's got an X on it. It did not. It is something I would consider, but I feel like there's a lot of hurdles. Anyway, the other Batman-related thing I had to talk about was I watched the final season of Gotham over, well, most of it yesterday and then the last couple episodes this morning. It was better than season 4. I'd already seen like the final 10 minutes of the final episode because I wanted to see like how it led into him being Batman. The series was pretty good. It kind of phoned in Bane as a villain and Nissa Al Ghul. But it was okay. I liked the stuff with the Riddler and the Penguin. And thankfully, because of the situation, they couldn't just do another season of Jim Gordon being upset at how crooked GCPD is. Because the season starts with Year Zero, which in the comics was when the Riddler kind of held Gotham hostage to the rest of the world and they weren't allowed to enter, so it kind of regressed to like a tribal state. Except in this instance, it was the Joker that did it. So yeah, that was neat. The very brief glimpse you get of the Bat costume in the final episode, again, I'd seen it prior to watching the episode. Not a good looking suit. Not good looking on the person playing him. They should have got someone a lot older because it is set 10 years after the events of the series. But it does just make me want an actual proper Batman series more. Batgirl is probably as close as we're going to get for a little while at least, but it had some up points. I keep on wanting to say Sean Pertwee, but Sean Pertwee was the guy who plays Alfred's father, right? He was the guy who was Doctor Who. What's his name? Is it Sean Pertwee as well? Does he have his father's name? Oh. Sister V. You know, the best boss, Sister V. Oh, I found my pajamas. That's the other thing. I bet the writers were kicking themselves that they accidentally killed off the good Joker rather than the Joker we got stuck with. Like, it's the same actor playing both Jokers. Because it's twin brothers who both kind of go crazy. Because the first one makes the second one crazy, infects him with the illness he has. But his first iteration, which is, I remember saying when I talked about him, is my second favourite Joker ever. Because it's just got just enough of Hamill's Joker, but he kind of puts his own swing on it with the Heath Ledger Joker. And it was just wonderful, but then he died, so then his brother becomes the Joker, and is just not any good at all. It tries too hard to be sinister, it's not goofy, it's not funny. And unfortunately, because they killed off the other one, they had to be stuck with him as like that persona, and that suffered a lot. If the other Joker had been the one throughout, it would have been like, it would have went from a solid C+ to like an A-. Which is a shame. They must have been kicking themselves. They should have asked the guy, like, do the bad Joker first, and then do the good Joker second, and we'll stick with that one. Which is also the guy who plays the lead in that new Star Wars RPG thing. Which, if I play it, I'm going to find very hard to play because all I'm going to hear is Joker. But, you know, that's my problem, no one else's. At least the end. I don't like that they like tried to retcon Barbara Gordon back to being sane. Because technically she's meant to end up with Jim and give birth to who would later become, you know, Barbara as in Batgirl. They just kind of, I don't know. People change allegiances so much in the program it becomes comical. I do like that they kept up the whole Penguin Riddler bromance though. Like they hate each other but at the same time they love each other. I wish they went more into the Penguin being bisexual rather than just being frenemies, but I feel like they might have dialed that back because people got upset. I don't have any proof of that because I didn't look into it, but I thought they were taking it in interesting directions in season... Was it season 3 that the Penguin basically is in love with the Riddler? Because that felt more interesting, but I feel like they toned it back to them just kind of being really good friends that kind of also sometimes hate each other. Because people got mad. It feels like the type of thing. But anyway, the reason I was trying to remember if Sean Pertwee was the guy's actual name or if it was just his father, who I know better because I watched Sean Pertwee as... No, you know what? It was John Pertwee. John Pertwee was Doctor Who and his son is Sean Pertwee, who is Alfred in Gotham. It is Sean Pertwee. Thank you for finally confirming after I confirmed it for myself because I remembered his father's name. He's a good actor. I really liked him as Alfred, and you know, he almost got a human emotion out of me in a speech he gives to Bruce before Bruce goes off to learn to be Batman. Because he just has this really great speech about Bruce being the only son he'll ever have. It was genuinely tear-jerking. He's a good actor. And they gave Alfred a lot more character with him being around Bruce, being in constantly life-threatening situations. Needed the speed down, honestly. I had a little bit of interest in Warcry, which is the new tabletop kind of shorthand Age of Sigmar thing. It plays interestingly, but I don't really like the models that the box comes with. And I don't really like the look of the models for the other armies releasing, and I obviously don't have any, so I'm keeping an eye on it. I don't mind the way it plays. I think it plays pretty interestingly, but the miniatures for it just don't do anything for me, really. And the miniatures come first. Did I drop something there? No. Because then at least if the game ends up not being particularly fun, I can at least have a bunch of models I like and paint those. Are we trying it on Saturday? The games can be really, really quick. Like, I watched a few battle reports of it that some were just like 20 minutes. With all the dice rolling on camera. Oh yeah, that's like season 1 you're talking about, Crispy. When he was little, and then between, I don't know, I think it was between season 2 and season 3, he has a ridiculous growth spurt. Which is just like perfect. Like if they wait, like say 10 years for that guy who played Bruce in Gotham to get a bit older, he would be a perfect adult Batman. Because he's just ridiculously tall, he has the hair and the look. And people will be familiar with him. They'd have to wait, and of course they're not going to wait, but it'd be really nice if they did. At least the person they have playing Bruce in Titan Season 2 must have some class if he was on Game of Thrones, I suppose. So hopefully he'll do a good job. No, Tom Brady, that would require real life friends. Yeah, we can do this. With this setup, Able isn't necessarily a bad thing. It's not necessarily a good thing. It's not necessarily a bad thing. Wait, he doesn't get the Loki's tear effect. Never mind, he is still bad. Mahahaha to you too. See, that's basically what I did my day off. 'Twas bat-filled. As usual. Oh, I did get some painting done. I posted pictures of stuff I painted. One of which was done on camera for a video that's not posted yet on the second channel, but the rest I just did because it's basically the same. And I wanted them done. Speaking of which, the second channel, I kind of hit maximum velocity, I feel, for subs I'm going to be able to get over there, both from like my base YouTube channel and the very small contrast paint subreddit that I post the 40k miniatures. Whoops, the 40k miniatures on. I don't bother posting the Batman ones because I don't feel it's relevant enough. Tabletop Simulator 40k games and such are, I mean, they work, but at the same time it doesn't feel the same. It's not as satisfying to play for a start. It's hard. It's not as easy to watch. Or as fun as to watch. I suppose it is easier to see if you're doing any rules wrong because you're seeing all the rolls, but I feel like if Tabletop Simulator added Warcry, that would be a very good thing because again, Warcry games are very short from what I've seen. I'd love if they added Gotham City Chronicles to it as well. Because those games are relatively short, and I feel like they are watchable, which is why I will be doing them on the second channel once I do eventually get my copies, which will be next year, because I got the Season 2 stuff as well. Oh, that was an enemy. Kill Team I don't like the look of. I feel like it's just Space Hulk with a few extra rules, and I don't like how it plays. Also, I would get too confused with 40k rules and rules for it as well. Warcry is different enough that that wouldn't happen. It's a bit similar to how the Batman miniature game plays actually. You alternate like activation order, but also you can gamble going first. It's got a system, well, without going into too many complicated details because it's my favourite word of the day apparently, but it's the minutia of the rolls. But you basically do a Yahtzee roll to start where you both roll like 6 or 7 dice. And then you mark off how many doubles, triples or quads you've got, and you can choose to bank those, and then the person with the most singles goes first, or you can influence them to try and get more or less. I forgot to use the Jera. And I got blank card Jera, no less. That's okay, because we're going to get one box, and then from one box we can make 1 million. What I get for talking about nerd shit. That's not a box, that's a quar. It happening in a big room would be especially good. No, you're not allowed to laugh. If you laugh, you're a communist. Oh, to go back to that brief conversation, because I totally forgot and I don't know why that reminded me, but the Native American gentleman who Batman was talking to. I used the Jera, I didn't use blank card. He was called Chief Exploding Chicken. That was what I was thinking about instead of thinking about what I was doing. You know, that's fine, because we're going to get another Jera rune in the next room. Also, this is going to be the longest chest ever. So there'll be enough time to duplicate. Look, it's been a long time since I broke the game, so I forgot how you do it, okay? It's also very warm, and I was distracted by chat. And I was talking about Batman, which is my one true love. Well, at least I've got rainbow tears now. The rainbows are streaming down my face. Jaren? Nope. Pretty fly. If you F in chat, you're also a communist. I mean, we're already powerful enough to win with ease, so does it really matter that I don't have every item in the game? It doesn't. It's fine. Just go back and watch one of the abundance runs where it happened. I still get comments on one of those occasionally. Via Steam of all places. Hello, Froglair. Oh, well, we can at least make use of this. Not good, but I'll take them as repentance. Even though repentance isn't out yet, but whatever. Yeah, why not? Of course it's a dead end, I deserved that. Anti-grav tears are very bad, incidentally. That was Degas. And that was Fire Mind. Oh, well, dude, thank you. There goes my anti-grav tears. See you in hell. Oh, right, but we have Loki's tears. Just give me blue, baby, so I can win. It's firing so quickly as well because of our tear rate. Paralysis. Don't encourage Phelan to abuse her dev powers. Might as well take a... Oh, there it is. I was like, did I blow up that bone heart? Can't blow up chest doors to escape. I didn't realize that was an enemy ghost. I thought it was mine. Alright, we are out of here. Could go back and re-roll Guppy's head, but we don't need to. Not quite as much damage as I was expecting, but I suppose we are still only on 11. Well, not only. 11 is good, especially with this tier rate, but... Goodbye, Blue Baby. And goodbye to the run. For those watching After the Fact on YouTube, we'll see you next time for another run. We record these every Tuesday at the very least, sometimes multiple times during the week. That for now.